Hello everyone, my name is Vanik Jain and you are listening to Finance God podcast. Apple's a brand known for its technology products and reputation and is often targeted by its various rivals and competitors through memes and advertisements. So today we will talk why brands target Apple and how did it achieve that level of greatness. We have all heard of Apple products and probably used them too. Their current net worth is $2 trillion. That exceeds the GDP of many big nations like Italy, Brazil, and Canada, and many stock exchanges too, like Frankfurt Stock Exchange, South Korea Stock Exchange, Stockholm Stock Exchange, and even the Swiss Stock Exchange. By this statement, we have evaluated the brand presence and brand value of Apple. This podcast is not a case study, which will be a topic for another podcast episode. In this episode, our main focus will be its competitors and how the brand combat criticism. They make some radical changes which often ignite mockery of its actions, like in the case of removal of headphone jack, which Apple was the first brand to ditch and move towards the wireless headphone trend. This action was condemned by its rivals by Samsung, making troll ads about the removal, although they also removed the headphone jack in their higher end smartphones later, and they also deleted the trolling ads. Apple was the first brand to kill old technologies and bring new technology like killing CD drive and Ethernet ports from the laptops, although CD drives were becoming pretty useless. When asked to Apple that why they removed the headphone jack, they answered by saying that it required courage to remove obsolete technology and bring alternatives. They brought up AirPods, and now Apple is the largest wireless earphone brand in the world. The early removal of the headphone jack ended up being super effective in their sales of wireless earphones. The next biggest thing that brought a wave of condemnation from the consumers and its rivals was the removal of the charging brick from the smartphone box due to environmental reasons, and said that most people must be owning the regular chargers, so it was a vague assumption, but they proposed that most people just throw it away their charger, so if they want it they can purchase it separately, and it gave a chance to again mock Apple by posting videos by many brands like We Include Everything, and the Chinese brand Xiaomi mocked by making unboxing videos glorifying the charger in their videos, but they later executed charger itself from its box, making itself as a joke in the technology industry. The main motive of telling all these innovations is not to take side with any one brand or defending Apple brand from its habit of killing technologies, but instead focusing on the topic that what Apple does today is replicated by the world tomorrow, and how its technological rivals are so keen to be involved with the event. Apple has a huge share in the smartphone sector, and every brand's main motive is to transfer the other brand's users into theirs by taking active participation in social media and keeping an eye on its opponent flaws. It follows a system like in politics where one party rules and the opposition keeps an eye on the current government. So we can relate the rallies by events held by the companies to promote their product with promises and a new approach every single time. They usually gang up against Apple because it is the only kid in the block with a different operating system and user interface, while all others rely on Android for their operating system and user interface. It is revolutionary to think about the influence one brand has on a technology, even though it is critiqued a lot for its pricey tags and certain lack of common features. You will find Apple products in every office, school, and professional studios. And by that, we have come to the half of the podcast and discussed why Apple is being targeted by the other tech companies. Now we come to the part of the podcast and discuss how Apple achieved the level they are on right now and the unique abilities which differentiate them from the other brands. Uniqueness, the first pointer. To identify Apple brand, its logo and its product designs are enough. The iconic Touch ID fingerprint sensor and the Face ID in the iPhones, the sleek quiet aluminum body model MacBook, the unique product which changed the concept of tablets with its impressive power, and Apple Pencil, iPad. All these Apple devices can be recognized easily from a distance. Their notch was so iconic that many brands started copying Apple's notch on the iPhone, but that look was never being replicated by any other brand. Many people compare prices of iPhone to different phones and label it as a very expensive phone, but the hefty price tag includes the branded new technology, impressive display, and of course the iOS, for which people buy, especially the iPhone. The second pointer on our list is the premium quality. Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, was a prodigy in innovation and demanded very high quality. His aim was to create such a product with such finesse that it should not be opened again for repair. And that's the reason of high quality gadgets. And that was only possible because of his vision. Comparing any laptop with MacBooks, you will find a ton of difference in their build quality, display, storage, fan, and many other internal components which are far more superior quality than its competitors. The third pointer we have here is how Apple converted himself from a tech company into a premium company. No Apple product comes cheap. You gotta pay the premium fee to be able to afford that small piece of tech, which main purpose of smartphone converted into a status symbol. Apple made the iPhone a sensational success with Apple logo, and that was the beginning of a journey of a new star gadget. People started using iPhones not for its technology but to get pictures with their iPhone to show the world. This trend has affected teenagers a lot with a high rise in demand of iPhones from their parents, and as the iPhones are pretty expensive, they just cost too much for a middle class family. Premium laptops, tablets, watches, TVs, smart speakers, and the list goes on with their range of expensive devices. But the main part is they sell. The fourth pointer that we will concentrate on now will be branding. No brand has more brand value than Apple with their different ways of marketing. A good product with excellent marketing is bound to be successful sooner or later, and that's the case with Apple. The aesthetics of Apple advertisements and the Apple events celebrated and awaited like real festivals. They do have a upper ground than most of the other brands out there. Instantly recognizable logo has also added to the brand value of the company. The last thing and one of the most important points is the customer loyalty. Apple fan base and customer base is one of the highest in the world with a very high retention rate. Retention rate refers to the return of customer to buy a new product from the same brand. Once a person buys something from Apple, like for example an iPhone, they will be mesmerized by the operating system, accessibility, and ease to be operated, most likely to come back for the iconic Apple ecosystem with all the devices syncing in together like pieces in puzzle. So first he'll buy an iPhone, then probably a MacBook, then iPad, Apple Watch, and the list will go on, and the urge of buying all the components will increase with time, and sooner or later he's going to be a lifelong loyal customer of Apple. Children who use Apple products early in their life for education, like MacBooks and iPads in schools and universities, are most likely to buy Apple products once they grow up and start earning because of the Apple ecosystem they have been exposed early in their ages, and the ease of transfer of data from one device to another. One Apple product for the consumer and a lifelong customer for Apple. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you like it to know about the reason why brands target Apple and how did it became so great. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter with the name Lavender Studios 20 and in Twitter Lavender Studios 5. See you in the next podcast.